This is the 44th World Gymnastics Championships, the apparatus finals from Antwerp, Belgium. Steve Schlanger, Amanda Borden, and Bart Connor. And now the men on the pommel horse, beginning with the 27-year-old from China, Zhang Heng Tao, former world champion from 2009.
Well, in the qualification, he had the highest execution score of a 9.141. So he is known for that form.
27 years of age. He's the oldest member of the Chinese team. Won the world championship on this event back in 2009, and he is just a magician up here. Beautiful rhythm up to the handstand. Look at how high he travels above those pommels, and the distance, the clearance between his hands and his hips over the horse and the pommels. Slight form break.
We notice a big difference in the body alignment. Full extension of the hips.
Oh man, that's just magic.
Kohei kind of set the tone for this event. He qualified in with the third highest score, but that'll definitely be one for those to follow to beat.
You know, of course, high bar and rings and floor exercise are among the more popular events in men's gymnastics, but in the gym, there's just great admiration for a guy who can do this. Pommel horse is one of those underappreciated events, but the real gymnastics enthusiasts realize that this is really hard.
We talk about this event too. It's very similar to the balance beam. If you're in the all-around competition and you can put up a good score here and sometimes just stay on the thing, it can really make a big difference in an all-around competition and also a team competition.
It's interesting that he is rarely on the Chinese team because he's essentially a specialist on this event, and he doesn't contribute on much of the other apparatus. So he gets the nod when it's an individual event world championships as opposed to a team world championships.
And his score to get things rolling on the pommel horse is a 15.6.
Higher than his qualifying score, where he qualified third into today's final.
Next up, it'll be Alberto Buznari, the top qualifier on the pommel horse, and the veteran at 35 years of age. First competed in the Olympics 13 years ago down in Sydney in 2000.
Amazing. Four-time Olympian, 2000, 2004, 8, and 12. He celebrated his 35th birthday yesterday here, and he's the 15-time national champion from Italy on the pommel horse. Going back to 1998. He's won every year except 2004. I wonder what happened.
Well, this would be a great 35th birthday present.
He has 7.1 degree of difficulty, and he has a move named after him on the pommel horse. He has the most difficulty of anybody in the finals.
4/10s higher than everybody.
This is the sequence right here. Flare up to handstand, traveling across the horse. He does it twice in variations. The trick, of course, is to keep the rhythm moving so you don't get caught in a handstand. Oh, incredible. Wow. 3 times in this exercise, he goes from flares up to handstands. That's what he's well known for. Oh, just a little short. Oh, man. Still impeccable difficulty. Wow.
Now, last year, as a 33-year-old, he just missed a medal at the Olympics in London, finishing 4th on the pommel horse. He's been able to maintain a high level of excellence for a long time.
Started gymnastics at 5 years of age. Now he's 35. He's been doing this for 30 years.
Wow.
Look at how well he goes up the handstand, traveling across the horse 3 times in this exercise. And as I mentioned, one of those sequences is named after him.
Beautiful element. Really has a nice look in the middle of the routine.
27 is hij. En ook in Tokyo.
He has by 4/10 of a point more difficulty than anybody else in the final here. 3/10 of a point, excuse me.
Een jaar eerder in Rotterdam pakte hij zelfs een medaille brons. En in Londen nog een jaar eerder.
Zhang Hung Tao of China. Pretty good start. Just ahead of the Italian with a 15.6. And now Alberto Busnari, who came in as the top qualifier. His score also a 15.6. So a tie at the top.
I think that one slight hesitation going up to that last handstand probably was a tenth of a point in break and rhythm, and that was the difference there.
Now Prazan Salatarai, competing for Australia, is third up on the pommel horse.
He's really a specialist on this event 3 times. He's won medals at World Championships going back to 2006, 2009, 2010. His highest is a silver medal, 2006.
Well, to explain how close this finals competition is, there's a little over 2 tenths separating the person that qualified in 8th all the way up to that first place spot. So any one of these 8 guys could... Of course, a fall takes you out of it real quick.
This is a really difficult sequence. That's called a spindle, where you're turning your body in the opposite direction that your legs are swinging. The fact that he does it on the leather in between the pommels makes it incredibly difficult, because those pommels obviously are hard to clear unless you are perfectly in line and have perfect technique. He's so good at these spindle type moves. It's one thing to do it on the end, but it's extremely difficult to do it in the middle between the pommels. Of course, a fall in gymnastics is a 1-point deduction, and that will confirm that he will not finish in the medals today. That's unfortunate. Once again, in order to get a medal here, you have to go for everything. So I have to tip my hat to him for going for the hardest routine he could possibly do, because, as we said earlier, there's just no benefit in coming here with a low degree of difficulty, because you won't even smell the podium unless you have high D score.
Well, especially with how close this competition is. Like I mentioned, less than 3 tenths separating all 8 qualifiers. They know it's going to take a clean routine and a perfect routine to make it to the podium.
No risk reward that time. A lot of risk, but no reward for the Australian. So a slight delay in getting his score as our next competitor gets ready. Great Britain's Max Whitlock will be next up, 20-year-old. Now, he was first up on the pommel horse in the all-around competition and had a delay before he began that routine. Now a delay as he awaits his pommel horse in the apparatus final as the judges try to work things out.
We talked about how hard it is to wait for that routine, and we mentioned that this is such a great event for Max that waiting on this event, not a big deal for him. Hopefully that same thing applies for the finals.
Very difficult to calculate these scores. There's 2 sets of judges. One group of judges is determining the difficulty value of the routine based on the value of each individual skill added together, fulfilling several, in fact 5 different event requirements. And then 6 other judges, the high and the low out, and 4 scores in the middle average on the execution score. And you see that one hurt him a great deal, because 6-6 difficulty is really, really respectable, but 7-4, 3-3 in execution.
And now the Olympic bronze medalist on the pommel horse, also the reigning European bronze medalist from this year, Max Whitlock of Great Britain.
He had a 6.6 degree of difficulty in the qualifying round. He's very good at those single pommel sequences.
He even bettered his score in the all-around competition.
Oh, kept going.
Great save.
Nice. And barely a form deduction, only a minor rhythm deduction as he came down from that handstand. That's tough.
How hard is it to save something like that on this event?
Oh, it's like balance beam. Like you said, you're one blink of an eye and you're standing on the ground. And the fact that he kept the rhythm going, even with a minor bobble. Oh! I think he had intended to do one more pirouette before he finished. If you go up the handstand and travel the length of the horse and add a pirouette, that's the maximum difficulty you can get for a dismount like that.
He had a 15.633 in the all-around competition, which was ranked #1 for that day, and would beat the #1 score right now, but he did have that balance error, and of course that dismount. See if that affects his difficulty score.
We enjoyed watching him at the Olympics last year, where the British team won the bronze medal, the first team medal in 100 years in men's gymnastics. And that was that sequence. He up to a handstand pirouette down.
And it looks like in the all-around competition, his start value was actually a 7.2, which was a little bit higher. Day one, it was only a 6.6, so you have to wonder if maybe that dismount or one of the other elements that he tried to add in.
And there's that little break in rhythm as he came down from that handstand and that spindle on the loop on the end of the horse. But these guys are going for it here. It's so cool.
All right, now the score on the pommel horse for Max Whitlock of Great Britain, our fourth gymnast in this apparatus. And a 15.633 for the 20-year-old.
And that 7.2 degree of difficulty was what paid off for him.
Max Whitlock of Great Britain, our new leader. 15.633, setting the pace midway through the men's pommel horse, as Robert Seligman of Croatia will be next.
2008 at the European Championships, he was third on pommel horse. Was a finalist also in the 2009 World Championships. Now in qualifying, his degree of difficulty was 6.4, which is 0.8 of a point less than what we saw from Max Whitlock.
But his execution score was a 9.1, so it kept him right in the mix, qualifying in 4th place.
And look at that body position. He's not only straight, but in some of these moves, he's actually a little bit arched, which is so hard to do. And his toes are pointed like a sharpened pencil. Anybody who can score 9 or more in execution is the king, as far as I'm concerned. That was beautiful. He gets all of his difficulty, and he didn't need a big pirouetting, twisting, traveling dismount.
Well, he was very clean throughout this routine, like you mentioned. Nice body alignment, perfect toe point. I'm not sure I saw those feet come apart at all.
That's the best form I've ever seen on pommel horse in the finals.
See how precise that hand placement has to be. How long are those pommel horse routines?
Way too long.
It's a lot of time on arms only.
Oh yeah, they might be doing as many as 35 to 40 different double leg circles around that horse in a typical exercise. They count the 10 highest degree of difficulty elements coming from 5 different categories of skills.
And here we go. Score for the Croatian, 15.433.
So high degree of execution, 9.033, but that's 6.4 in difficulty, 0.8 of a point behind Max Whitlock there.
And now we move on to the Mexican, Daniel Barron, who is up next. A 23-year-old who is, Kohei Kamiyama, the Mexican Daniel Barron, coming up following Kohei.
This is his first world championships for the pommel horse specialist. Had a 6.6 difficulty score in qualifying and an 8.8 execution score,
which put him in 8th place, but reminder, he was only 0.233 out of 1st place. So he is just as capable of anybody else in this lineup to move up to the podium.
And much like Seligman, he has really nice body line and form. He's not quite as extended, but his toe point is spectacular. Very nice spindle-type moves. Traveling from one end of the horse to the other in a move called a Gro Yunyan.
Getting exciting.
It's been a great meet for Japan. 1-2 on floor exercise today. 1-2 in the all-around. 1-3 in floor exercise. Some people might argue it should have been 1-2 in floor exercise, but in any case.
Jake Dalton taking that silver medal on floor.
His high elevation over those pommels, really nice technique.
He had that 6.6 difficulty in the qualification round. We'll have a look at his difficulty score in the finals. We've seen a lot of the athletes adding in elements to get those points.
Coached by Isao Yoneda, who was a member of Japan's gold medal team at the 2004 Olympics in Athens.
All right, so Japan's other Kohei about to get his score on the pommel horse. Good routine and a great score. 15.833 moves him into first.
6.9 difficulty, more than he did in qualifying, and that paid off.
Well, we've talked about how important the difficulty score is because those points are just built into the score. The judges can't really take any deductions from that, so it really can make a big difference. He added 3/10 to his start value, and that paid off 2/10 higher than Max Whitlock.
All right, now Daniel Barron from Mexico, the 23-year-old who won the silver medal on this apparatus at the University Games earlier this summer.
He's the first Mexican male to make the apparatus finals at the World Championships and the Olympics. He was 5th on parallel bars at the Olympics in London.
He's been to every single Worlds for Mexico from 2006 to 2013.
He hopes to become the first Mexican gymnast to win a world medal. The best result to date for Mexico was Denise Lopez, who was 6th on vault at the 99 Worlds. Great opportunity for Danielle here.
Well, he qualified in with the second highest score. His difficulty is 6.7. Will he add to the difficulty today?
Oh, that's a nice routine. There's only one more gymnast left after him. And that's Matvey Petrov of Russia.
Now Barron now waits on his scores after a very good fundamental routine here.
Well, he does have at least a 10th higher than a lot of the competitors, but we've seen a lot of them add in that level of difficulty. He had great execution, and the score to beat is a 15.833.
It would be a huge accomplishment if he ends up winning a medal. Could be a first for a Mexican gymnast at the World Gymnastics Championships. Just a little hitch as he was going up to that handstand at the end, but beautiful travel, spinning handstand dismount.
Now born, raised, and still living in Baja, California. And his score is 15.633. That moves him into a tie for second place.
And there's only one gymnast to go. So guess what? Mexico will get their first medal ever. Oh, he's tied for second with Whitlock.
Kohei Kameyama still the leader with Matvey Petrov of Russia coming up as the last on the pommel horse now.
Well, the Russian men had a very disappointing performance at these World Championships. So a chance at redemption here. Petrov had a 6.7 difficulty score and an 8.8 execution score in qualifying. Just 2 Russian men qualified for the finals here. The other is Alexander Balandin. He made the ring finals. Oh!
Wow, great save.
Petrov has returned to competition this year after missing 2 years with a wrist injury. And you can imagine a wrist injury for a pommel horse worker is devastating because there's so much strain and pressure on the wrists on this event.
But bouncing back for his pommel horse routine here as he brings this to an end in the pommel horse competition.
Saw 8 routines, a few form breaks, but only 1 fall throughout that whole rotation. It was close in the qualification round. It became even closer, really, in the finals.
Even wachten op het resultaat van de Petrov. 1 coming up.
All right, the Russian waiting on the scores as we close things out in the pommel horse. 15.416. So it is Kohei Kamiyama of Japan who wins the gold medal. He's the world champion on the pommel horse. There is a tie for second place and no bronze medal for a 15.833 for the world champion.